Hey everyone, welcome back to the Grit Daily, the Grit Files podcast. I'm your host, Loralyn Mears, and in the house today, we've got Loralyn Prager. So she's another Jersey Philly girl who's transplanted her way down to Florida, where we all know the weather's a little bit better, so we're not going to get into that. But what she's doing down there, Synapse, is working with entrepreneurs and finding these skill sets and bringing all of the resources together to ensure greater success within the community. So with that, hi, Loralyn.
Hi, it's so nice to be with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I tend to slaughter some of the introductions for people, and it's always better to hear it right from people in their own words. So maybe you could talk to our audience a little bit more about Synapse and your role with this nonprofit organization and the impact you guys are having, making not only in Florida, but really beyond.
I actually have a new title and a new opportunity here at Synapse. I'm now the Chief Strategy Officer, and it's hard to believe that it was just 5 years ago when Synapse launched that I joined as a volunteer. And after working in community building through another nonprofit that focused on foreign policy, in building a career in and around Washington, D.C. as an educator, as a lobbyist, and working on bipartisan issues, I had taken some time to focus on family. I have two young girls, and I decided after that I was ready to get back into the workforce. But living in Tampa, Florida is very different from living in Washington, D.C. And so I looked for a new opportunity, and I was introduced through mutual friends to this brand new organization that was focused on aligning all of the very rich resources in Florida's innovation communities. And I volunteered to help. And it really opened up a whole new world of creators and doers and visionaries and people who really saw needs and challenges and then took them into action and translated that into solutions. And it was really exciting to be a part of that. And so my journey through Synapse has really been an exciting and unexpected one. Certainly not what I ever imagined I'd be doing, but it's been just really a privilege to be part of the really dynamic growth here in Florida.
With respect to Grit now, because this is the Grit Files and this is hosted by Grit, right? We want to get into it now. Lobbying in DC, I'm sure that's brought your share of gritty opportunities, as well as working with some of these founders and what they've been through, grinding and clawing their way right through the grit to try to achieve something. Maybe you can talk about that on a personal level, as well as perhaps anecdotally with what you've seen in your ecosystem.
Sure. I think that's a perfect place to start, because it took a while for me to be able to look back and put the pieces together. But the common thread through all of this is strong commitment that the work that you're doing matters, that there's no one better to do it, and that you are making transformative and positive change. And I realize that whether you're in and around policy issues and working in a state capital or U.S. capital on a particular issue, even if you're on a different side, there's this passion for improving our community and society. And I see that same passion and commitment with the entrepreneurs and the CEOs and the investors and education and government leaders that I've had an opportunity to interact with through our work here at Synapse. Those people who are building organizations to support them and educate them so that they can be successful through entrepreneur support organizations. There's an entire ecosystem of people, and they are dedicating themselves to making a positive impact on the community. And there's just nothing better than getting a chance to work with people who feel, yes, they work hard. There is a need for that resiliency. And that is something that you have to cultivate and really focus on. But there is something that is really powerful about working with people who have that passion and commitment for something so positive. And that gets us through a lot of the really tough days.
Now, yourself having gone through a lot, I'm sure, within DC and the whole, literally the politics of the nation there, and having that opportunity to work, create, draft policy, try to fight for it. And then, of course, lobbying, on the Hill, and I'm sure getting the sometimes pushback on trying to move some of these policies and agendas in that forward. Talk to me about how you as a person have changed through that experience and now in your capacity of creating these communities at Synapse.
It all goes back to, and I think that this is important for any part of life, is being a part of something bigger than myself, than each of us. And I see each conversation not as a zero sum, but as an opportunity to really listen and to learn, and to ask questions, and expand my own knowledge and experience. And I really leaned into that when I got a chance to, and really a privilege to work around policy issues and finding the pieces of the world that brought people together, and focusing on that, and not to ignore the differences, but really to help remind people that we have a lot more in common, a lot more in our shared values. And that's the same in the entrepreneurial world and in the innovation world. Building something that will create change is hard. I was just talking to a founder today about her journey and being told again and again and again that her idea wouldn't work. She couldn't get investment. She wasn't ready. And, each time asking, okay, I understand. I hear you. Tell me why. Tell me what's missing. And then using that opportunity to grow. And that takes a lot of hard work and a lot of humility, but ultimately a focus on the idea that you're doing something that will make a positive change, and it's a true passion. And that gets you really, really far.
Amen to that. As someone who's going through the same thing, that's exactly it. You've just got to pick yourself up again,
right?
Because I, am identified with my why. I know why I'm doing it, and I'm out there. I'm on a mission. And I love what you said about how conversation shouldn't be a zero sum. I have a similar philosophy, stated a little bit differently, but with every conversation, I like to give a nugget. So I offer something of value, but I like to get a nugget too, so that I learn from the person that I'm speaking with.
I agree with you 100%. And before we got on to, the recording, and we had a chance to kind of talk about what the nuggets that you've shared through your writing and through your own interviews, I really feel that being generous is with your passions, with your knowledge, with your why, the pieces that you've picked up along the way that have helped you, that generosity of spirit, paying it forward, it goes really far. That's one of the things I've found also about the innovation community in Florida in particular, that's so powerful. There is a sense of true authenticity and collaboration. Even when I was on a call with a group of people this afternoon, they talked about being frenemies. They want their industry to succeed. They want each other to succeed. And even when they're, a little bit competitive and going after a similar contract or similar opportunity, they cheer each other on because they know that each success in the community begets more success. That whole rising tide lifts all boats, that's real. And I love that in our community here in Florida, and I'm sure in other places, but this is home for me now, that really is the ethos that drives our ecosystem, that drives our growth. And when you bring that mindset in, that openness and collaboration, you get so much more than you can even give, because you just go in with an open spirit, an open heart, and an open mind.
And you can have fun along the way. Like, that's why I love doing this podcast. I get to talk to other continuous learners and people who are saying, hey, have you thought about this instead? It's like, oh, as a matter of fact, I have not. Thank you for enlightening me and expanding, my perspective. That's what it's about. It's fun. I don't know. I guess whatever floats your boat, right? This floats mine. So I like it.
I think that, what I also think we're in a unique time, because there's this openness to curiosity. Now we're so used to asking Alexa or asking Siri or asking Google or whatever your chosen. I like to ask people. And, when I came into this world of innovation, I did not have a business background at all and knew nothing about the alphabet soup of entrepreneurship and investment and this whole new world. I had to Google AI and ML when I was under the table at a meeting. I just kind of looked at my phone because these words were so new to me when I started. And I realized that if you take a little ego out of it and you actually just take a moment to ask people about their work, you can learn so much and just keep asking questions. And first of all, people love to talk about themselves and they love to talk about the work that they do, but it allows you to make so many powerful connections between your own life experiences and what's familiar to you, and then other connections to people or players or resources in the community that can help them along their path. And by being a connector in that way, I have found it to be incredibly empowering and gratifying. And it's really also what I see others in our ecosystem doing, just opening the doors for others. But you have to start by being willing to ask questions. And I encourage all of your listeners to really think about that the next time they're not sure, instead of, searching it, on your phone, or just ask and let people share what they know.
Oh, indeed. All that curiosity. And then your positivity in that too, that really comes through. And so I'm really jazzing to that. So that's kind of exciting. But on the other side of all of that, what happens when something doesn't quite go the way that you thought? So what do you want to share with the audience with respect to something that really threw you for a loop and you went, whoa, I've got to learn from this?
I think you just own it. I think that especially the last 2 years have reminded us of our humanity, of our fallibility. We talk as a society more in a positive way about what makes us strong and where we want to grow. And I think that what people respect is honesty. So no one is perfect. We do the best that we can with the information that we have in the moment. And when things don't go the way you had hoped for whatever reason, just own that and learn from it. And I find that that's really, it's hard to do, but it's important to do. And don't be afraid to ask for help. A mentor of mine years ago always reminded me to ask, to use all the tools in your toolkit. And sometimes, that means asking for help from other people, putting it out into the universe on your social media channel of choice, or calling a trusted advisor or a friend, or even going to your team or your family and asking for help or guidance, or just letting them know, this is where you're at right now. This is what you need. And again, that takes humility and being self-aware. But I find that, that's so powerful, so powerful to have those resources.
And to be able to have that safe space that people create it for each other, even if it's not from your immediate family, let it be from your chosen family.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. People want to be involved, and I think people want to help. One of the important ways to approach it, though, I think, is to go in with a specific ask. I find that that's really helpful to do. So if I need, something, I try to be as specific about what it is as I can, so that the expectations are clear. And if I'm not sure, I admit that too. I think I need help with this. This is what I'm working towards. I, could use some guidance, and then kind of see where it goes from there. But it's better than kind of going to somebody and saying, like, I don't know, I need help, have a little bit more of direction and give them some guidance.
What if I gave you an undo button to change one thing in your life? Would you hit it?
No, I wouldn't.
That's the answer we get most often, actually, which is kind of surprising. People are like, well, yeah, this is all these experiences that I've had. This is what shaped me.
I wouldn't change anything. And not because my life is perfect, but because my life is mine. So I think that's a really powerful question. But I mean, I'm very confident in my answer, but it's just a powerful question. Kind of gives you a moment to take a pause and think about the path. Like I said, it is not a path I ever expected, but that's been fun. And I don't sit back every day and kind of reflect on life. I don't know. Do you kind of sit back every day and think like, oh, I thought I'd be here, but it's good to do that sometimes and just be grateful. I think especially now, we're so grateful, so much of what we have. I try to really hold on to that feeling.
I do. And then related to that question, another sort of heavy question is, what's your kryptonite? What takes you out at the knees?
Oh man, I thought we were going to talk about the innovation community. I wasn't prepared
That's next.
for these existential questions. I love it, but wow, what's my kryptonite? Um, senseless hatred. I don't understand it. It's something I've been thinking a lot about. Personally, I think that I do believe that people are inherently good. And I think that we can see that in each other and support each other in that. And when I see divisiveness, I really have a hard time understanding that part of humanity. And it does go back to the work that I'm fortunate to get to do here and the work that we do here in our community, because you have to first believe that the world is a wonderful place and can continue to be improved upon. It's that growth mindset, which I know is kind of, a catchy phrase in the business world, but it's true. If you believe in improving our community, our society, our people, you have something to work towards. And so when I don't see that, when I see the exact opposite of that, I really find that jarring and sad. Yeah.
It truly, it's a sad statement of humanity. Like this poor gal, this Olympian last week, Zuhi, she was skating and people have been trolling her for falling. I mean, you get up in front of all those people and try to perform like a triple Lutz or whatever else that it is. You try that on ice.
Yeah.
Oh, appalling lack of humanity and empathy. But
humanity, yeah.
But now back to really the main theme here in and around technology and innovation and what you are doing for the community within Synapse in Tampa, and beyond. Talk to us a little bit about that. What entrepreneurs are coming to you for, what they're getting in return, what they're looking for, and how our audience can potentially help with all of that ecosystem and collection of resources that you're bringing to the entrepreneurs in the community.
Sure. And it does really all connect. And I really don't mind the personal journey. It's just funny to kind of, not funny, but it's pretty powerful to think about how it all does really connect. And that's the point. So our organization is called Synapse because the synapse is the bridge between neurons. It's the space that we create to allow ideas to connect and to grow and to expand. And so that is what our organization is. That is what we create. We create space with intentionality for connections that are meaningful and intentional and valuable. Because we have found that when you're trying to build an innovation, an idea, not only technology, and I think this is another kind of misnomer. Innovation isn't only in technology. Most people think about cybersecurity or software or something in the traditional tech realm, but you can have innovation in music, in the culinary arts, in the performing arts, in the visual arts, in the way that you conduct business, in the way that you build a team. And we really challenge the community to think about innovation in all facets of life, both at work and at home and kind of in community and society. And we bring that into the work that we do. But Synapse creates space to really highlight Florida innovators and showcase the ways that they are transforming society, the industries that are growing in our state. Some are legacy industries like space and software, obviously hospitality and tourism, and some are industries that aren't often associated with Florida, healthcare and defense tech and cybersecurity and music. And now that we're in this new world of kind of Web3, the ways that cryptocurrencies and NFTs and blockchain technology are being cultivated through communities all across Florida. So we create spaces where the leaders, thought leaders within these industries can come together and interact and share ideas, share thought leadership, discover each other, celebrate their wins, oftentimes find investments or partners that can help them to accelerate their businesses and to grow. And we've been at this for 5 years, and it's been really remarkable to see what creating this shared space can accomplish. And that's what we do.
And it is all about that. Looking at things holistically. Like I love that you say like that Synapse is creating that space, because if you are not in a place emotionally, spiritually, physically, never mind financially, that comes in too, obviously into play in a big way for the entrepreneurs trying to get started. But how can you go forward and try to create something and do when you know you're going to be climbing one hill, well, one mountain after another? So it's wonderful that you've got that support infrastructure. What can our audience do for you and for Synapse?
It's really, I appreciate the question, but as a nonprofit, we're really here to serve the community. We are an organization built by innovators for innovators. And so when we gather, like we'll do literally a week from today, will be the 5th annual Synapse Summit. We'll have several thousand people joining us in Amalie Arena, which is the big hockey arena here in downtown Tampa. And we'll have a showcase of the innovators across our state. We'll have almost 200 speakers. We'll have over 300 companies that will come to exhibit. We'll have our most diverse program ever. And when we talk about diversity within innovation, we pass the microphone to subject matter experts who come from different backgrounds and life experiences and perspectives and share their knowledge as a subject matter expert and help to really change the narrative about diversity in the way that we approach hosting and curating our panels in this way. It's with a lot of intention. You'll get to hear from and meet innovators and creators that you don't know yet, but you will, because the work that they're doing is so transformative. And some of them have launched at our events. This is where they've chosen to kind of launch their company and maybe took the stage for the first time. And now they're having capital raises in the hundreds of or tens of millions of dollars, valuations in billions of dollars. They're really building transformative innovations and technologies, and we've been part of their journey. And it's really like our gift to the gift to be able to be a part of bringing them together. So the Synapse Summit, when we host this, is that opportunity. And so it's really what we want to give to the community is a chance to discover the talent that lives here in Florida. And that's our tagline: innovation lives here, and we're here to prove it.
Is there a way that founders from the Florida area can get in touch with you or look or apply to be part of that ecosystem? Anything you want to share to that end, Loralyn?
Of course. So we're, of course, all over the social media. So synapsefl.com is our site. You can find us on all of the usual platforms. And if you are interested in learning more about Synapse Summit in particular, synapsesummit.com is a great way to see the content that we've curated for this year's event. And this is an event that we're proud to make accessible to the community. We have really generous sponsors who have enabled us to keep ticket prices as low as possible and really eliminate a lot of barriers to entry so that we can have a community that participates that comes from a lot of different experiences. We'll have a lot of veterans and even active duty military who come to the event to use this as a chance to learn about the business community and explore career opportunities for after their service. We'll have students there from all different ages and stages, from high school students, actually a phenomenal high school student that's coming to exhibit his company. And through the life experiences, we'll have CEOs and chief technology officers. We'll even have a chief metaverse officer. Kathy Hackle is one of our keynote speakers. And I don't know if you've ever met a chief metaverse officer, but I guarantee you she may be the first, but she will not be the last. So it's a really diverse group of people who come. So we're really here for you, the community, the listeners, the people who are grinding it out, who have that grit, who have that resiliency, who know that you're doing something that will make the world a better place, that'll change the world, and want to be a part of a community that shares that dedication.
Ooh, I'm excited. I wish I was in Florida next week. Well,
I wish you could come. When you're ready, we work hard and we play hard. So when you're ready to join us down here, anytime, let me know. It'd be my pleasure to show you around.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Well, we're going to wrap this up with one more fun question here. This is an easy one.
Sure.
It's our signature question. So if we looked into your closet and there was a pair of footwear, some form of footwear, shoes, boots, stilettos, something that best personified your personality and who you are, tell us about that piece of footwear? Those that she
Oh my goodness. That is such a difficult question. It's so dependent. It's got so much. Well, I'll tell you my favorite right now because I'm wearing them today. I have a pair of gray suede low cut I guess cowboy boots. I'm a woman, so cowgirl boots. I don't know, but ponytail with a little heel. I'm petite, so I often wear shoes with a heel on them, and they've been my jam lately. And even though I live in Florida, I still got that Northeasterner in me. So just that warm fuzziness that you get from putting on a great pair of boots that goes with everything. That's what I'm rocking lately. So I'll stick with that one for today.
I love it. Oh, why not? Well, with that, Lauren, you've been an absolute pleasure here being on our show. We really appreciate it. We wish you tremendous success with your Synapse Summit. That's incredible. 300 and some entrepreneurs who will be out there and talking about all of the things that they've innovated. That is incredible. So congratulations to you and the rest of the team at Synapse, and we wish you continued success with your program.
Thank you so much. It was great speaking with you. I appreciate you having me, and I look forward to keeping in touch.
Fantastic. Bye, Lauren.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget to follow Grit Daily News as well as me, your host, Loralyn Mears, everywhere on social media. And how about throwing 4 or 5 stars our way if you're listening to Apple or Spotify? Subscribe to our show. And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?